All right, guys. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Juice. My name is Vince Delicious, and I'll be one of your co-hosts. I'm joined today by YH and the venerable Ice. I'll start off with YH there. YH, how are you doing?
Yo, what's good? Just doing good, glad to hop on like a chill session here on the weekend. Getting to update you guys on some news and something on Juni, and also get to talk with our founder Ice later on. Yeah.
Wonderful. Ice, how about you? How are you doing today?
Hey guys, Ice here. I'm good. Hanging out with the team today. Talking everything about art and Junie.
All right, it's going to be good. We've got ourselves live over on YouTube as well. I'll pop a link in the Discord and also here on Twitter or X. Just give me a moment to pop that over. But for now, but while I go ahead and do that, I'll go ahead and swap over to YH. Who's going to go through some interesting news items that happened over the last 2 weeks from both Web3, the art world, and also here at Junie. YH, take it away.
Okay, sounds good. By the way, just before I start sharing, you are sharing my screen through the stream, right?
Oh, just give me 1 second. It's a great reminder. I'll pop that one through. Oh, hold on 1 sec. Let me just pop my one down, and then I've got we'll go over to yours. Managing like 3 different things at the moment. All right, should be good.
Okay, so my screen is up. So as you can see, this first one actually shocked me as well, which is Justin Bieber's like one of the older songs, not as old as Baby, but Justin Bieber's song Company, which was from 7 years ago, was available on Base with each piece like cost around 27.5 US dollar, as you can see, and it was minted out in 1.5 hours. So glad to see Web3 music, having things popping on, and looking forward to see what's more from that side of things. And on the second one, we'll be covering a bit on Web3 fashion for a bit. Like this shocked me, not gonna lie. Like if you have been keeping up to K-pop, you should know the K-pop group New Jeans. With their viral song "Oh My God," right? And they actually in one of the shows, probably like a reality show, they were wearing shoes by Artifact, specifically the Artifact, the Air Force One by Takashi Murakami, which is like wow, bro. Yeah, for us Web3 people to see that happen on a TV screen, nah, that's just wow. Looking forward to see what they are doing, and also like others uh builders in the Web3 fashion side of things. And yep, that will be like the two main highlights for the news within the Web3 space throughout the past 2 weeks.
Thanks very much, YH. That was wonderful. Like having some interesting stuff over in especially the K-pop world with New Jeans, wearing some stuff from a Web3 project. I mean, it is Murakami, who's obviously very famous in his own right, but it's very cool to see. And I thought it was very interesting that this kind of stuff is sort of heading over. I still think we are indeed a little bit early, but that's fine. That's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to pop over to some of the updates from Junie itself?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So like from previously, we've seen some like bug issues with the image of the Quest Art NFTs that you get, but those have been consistently fixing, and I think most and majority of them should be fine now from what I've seen in the ticket. So that's like a little update. And the second one, which you've probably seen it recently, which is our new art quest featuring Yu Yu Haru. Well, this is different from the previous one because majority of them were like digital art, but stuff by Yu Yu Haru are painted through watercolors, which gives off that retro vibe. The those times where you attend like art classes during the school days, and get to see such high quality watercolor artwork. Nah, I'm all in for that. And Bossman Ice, can I tease about that? That I asked about you in the team chat. Do I get the green light?
Let me see real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So there will be like a official announcement real soon. But we are back with another mentor of the month, being Mom, one of our artsy initiatives. So fellow artists out there, be ready for to brush up your luck for a bit and to get mentored by who when we announce.
Looking forward to see who it is, obviously from the public point of view, but I have seen some of the teasers. It does look very nice. Our mentors, our moms, I should say. I think it's Golden Peel came with that name, right?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it was definitely Goldie.
Thank you very much, Goldie, for the name. But our upcoming mom, I think, is our up and coming mom is very exciting. That's a whole sentence on its own, but I'm very excited to see the kind of work that comes out, especially the last couple of initiatives that we've run with mom. The quality of the work and the artists themselves coming up as they've been mentored directly. It's really awesome to see how they've developed. So I'm looking forward to the new one as well.
Yeah, I actually think it was really cool. I think the whole point of the mentor program was really to kind of help a lot of these up and coming artists kind of build up their skill and try things that they haven't tried before. And like kind of thinking of ways to elevate their arts, finding ways to connect with, collectors, because, I think it's a bit of luck finding kind of the collectors that you want. But also it's kind of further in just finding progress in your art. That's probably, I would say, probably the most fulfilling part of probably being an artist is feeling like you're constantly progressing and advancing. Um, I don't think you ever just stop growing. It's just kind of a natural progression of being an artist. So I think that's really cool. We're able to have mentors willing to share their knowledge. You really teach kind of a lot of artists here in Artsy to kind of grow their talent. So yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah, it's something that we worked on quite a lot, I think, and something that the artsy team especially has worked on. Something that really only gets seen by the members of our artsy community, but it's something that we pride ourselves on. So thank you very much for everyone for participating, and best of luck to the new mentees and mentor. Is there anything else that you want to bring up today, YH?
I think that would be all because I wouldn't be able to link too much as well.
No, that's
Yeah, should be there.
not a problem. All right, then we'll go ahead and jump straight into our main, I want to say topic, but not really topic. It's more like our whole method of discussion here, and that is with our man, Ice. Ice, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Actually, I think I don't know if I ever really came on officially when we started the Juice. I kind of just been listening in, so yeah, this is cool. I think, what we're doing with our excellent hosts, Vince and YH, is really kind of to build um kind of like a news cycle, but also kind of giving updates on kind of what we're doing, but also really kind of providing people within the space, and even outside of space too, on what, Web3 is about, digital art, artists and collectors. Because ultimately, I think the goal is to really share it with everyone. And so this is kind of definitely a first step. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad we're having it on YouTube too. So if you guys have YouTube, check it out too as well. Um, I think it'll be recorded as well, right, Vince?
Yeah, in general, YouTube just automatically records everything that goes on. So feel free to hop in there after the show. If you are tuning in a bit late, that's perfectly fine. Definitely one of the big points we wanted to do for something like the Juice was X spaces are fine. Obviously, a lot of our audience and a lot of people in our space exist here on Twitter/X. But given that we are a very visual based project, we can't show off the things that we're talking about. It kind of feels a bit it feels like we're missing something. So definitely something that we want to start, and hopefully you guys slowly come over here to YouTube and see what we're talking about, especially because today's topic or topics of discussion I should say is a lot about what sort of brought you to this space in terms of both as a project builder, of course, being the founder or co-founder, sorry, and of course as a collector. So we're going to have a look a little bit at Ice's collection if he doesn't mind sharing, and you'll get a nice visual view of that if you're over here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Actually, yeah, I was I was actually kind of looking through my wallet because I haven't checked it in a while. Um, Kind of to your first question, so like, what brought me into the space? I mean, really, it was just to collect art. I mean, or like, or kind of like see kind of what NFTs were about. I think didn't have that kind of original goal of building something here. I think it kind of came out of just being in the space. Um, and so like I think when I was starting, I think I first didn't want to spend so much because I was like, why is people spending like thousands, tens of thousands, even $100,000 on like these JPEGs? Because at the time I didn't quite understand, and obviously T at the time was super into it. He was like one of my best friends and high school friend growing up, and he was kind of been building already in the space already, and so he kind of gave me a glimpse of kind of what blockchain was about and kind of what the use cases could be for NFTs and the potentials of it. And yeah, it got me really excited because I was like, because I was pretty into art before. Um, Used to uh, study art history and then also look at like different artists currently. Always been a big fan of like contemporary artists, like Damien Hirst and Calder. I love the sculpture work he does, but also like digital art or almost anime style art too. Obviously, Murakami has been a huge part too. Um, he's kind of led a lot of the advent between what was it kind of like otaku type culture into like more of an anime or more mainstream style art.
Hmm.
It's definitely becoming more popular too. So, um, and so that kind of got me into thinking about like how do we bridge that gap? Because obviously things are becoming more digital, and so that's kind of what I was just doing early. It was just like finding artists and just talking with them and just collecting their work, hanging out with the Zuki people, getting to know them. There's a lot of cool builders within the Zuki community, um, and then branching out to other communities too as well. I think the first artist I talked to was actually, I think it was Yuka. I think Yuka was definitely the first artist I was talking to. Um, and I think because her art stood out to me the most because it was very like uh very unique. Like it's definitely like Japanese inspired, but also like very like her own style. Like I didn't see any type of work like hers before. And so obviously I commissioned her and and yeah, that's how it started. And then I got to know all the other artists too within the space. Um I think pretty I think I was pretty active in just talking to a lot and DMing them early. Just kind of getting to know them. I think that was probably the most fun part.
Like directly
Yeah,
connecting, right?
yeah, the directing, connecting, and because I mean, before, like, it's really hard to talk to artists before, like, just like how I talk to these artists, like, it's really hard for them to find um, collectors. So, like, from where I live, we have kind of like art festivals, like maybe twice a year. They'll host like festivals, and these new artists will come and like showcase their work. Um, and then that's how they found it. Or usually, more prominent artists usually you need to get sponsored or promoted by galleries. And that's really tough to do. So yeah, so I mean, I think that's why I was really excited because I thought within Web3, like this could be almost a new way of kind of bridging that gap of artists and collectors together. And so yeah, that's kind of was always been the basis of what we wanted to do, even when um before Junie was created. Actually, that was kind of what I was envisioning what Web3 would be, and then felt like having a project to help kind of build upon that vision was something that I thought was really important and something that we're still doing till this day.
Yeah. Like you've just mentioned, like a whole slew of artists. And I realized I don't have your view open. So do you mind if I'll pop over to your screen at the moment, and you can show us some of the stuff, especially like the piece you commissioned from Yuka, right?
Oh yeah, I'll show you. So this is the first one that I did with Yuka. And this was it's funny because uh I think Yuka was really easy to talk to, And I think I was most impressed by how um, involved she was in the creation with the her commissioner. So like she would tell me like what kind of story do I want to talk about? How do I want to create this character? This was the Zuki that I picked up at the all-time high. But we don't have to talk about that.
We didn't talk about
But
that.
we don't have to talk about that. But I think the idea for this was like just kind of the sleepy, almost like almost like chill vibe that he gives off of the Suzuki. And I thought it fit me a lot because I was like, I think I'm pretty overall pretty cool, calm, collected about things in general. And sleep is always like really important. So um and so yeah, Yuka wanted to be like, hey, let's craft a story about this. Let's have him wait outside for someone. And so I was like, okay, I love that story already. And so like she basically wanted uh him to be kind of like on the almost like waiting outside someone's house. And she added like those flowers in the back you see with the letter. And I told him like maybe we should do it closer to like dusk. So like he'll be under like the lamplight.
Oh, okay.
And
I like that detail. Yeah, I didn't notice until you told me, so that's cool.
yeah, so it's interesting because we also had to work on different. So she, if you were to commission Yuka, she'll give you 2 drafts, and you kind of can, or you can also edit, give her suggestions, and she'll give you 2 chances to edit. And then I think we went through different poses too for the character. So one was originally he would just kind of be like looking. Then the other one was I think more chill was one we went with was having him kind of rest his arm. Um,
Hmm. Is that this
his
one
head
here?
on his arm. Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, hey, but I think it'd be cool if we added his buddy, his little bean buddy too. And I was like, and then she was like, why don't we stick him in a shoe? And I was like, that's perfect. And so then now, so now we have our bean buddy in his shoe. I just call him Z actually. I don't really have a real good name for him.
Z. Why do you call him Z?
I just think of sleep as just a bunch of Z's.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, I like that.
Which is funny because I was like, I don't know, maybe people think it's like with related to Zagabond, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny the way that she added him like that. So that's kind of how it came about, and it's cool too because this artwork was actually featured in a lot of different galleries too. I think you could add it to her own personal gallery on Cyber, and I think this was on Sandbox too. I think there was a big events. I can't remember. It was probably back in the fall.
Yeah, wow,
This was featured
Sandbox.
there as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Damn, living in that metaverse already.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite um yeah, commission work. Because I think I was really involved in storytelling too. Um yeah, and I think yeah, Yuka was just that's how I got to know her really well. She's super sweet. I think if you guys haven't had a chance to commission her, definitely think about it. I know her waitlist is long, but I do think it's worth it.
I think it's like
Um,
it's not open though, is it? She's just so backlogged. She's
uh,
not going to bother opening for a while. But yeah, I am
yeah,
waiting for the opportunity for sure.
yeah, actually, so yeah, I think there's a wait list, but I guess a little teaser. So she did finish just a recent work for me, that we'll post very
Hey
soon.
yo, okay.
Okay,
Of my
okay.
Zodia, actually, yeah, because I actually never got a piece of my Zodia.
Like just
Uh,
Zodia, yeah.
just my Zodia. Yeah. I have one with just the daddies. Actually, let me find it real quick.
That one is awesome. I love that one.
Oh, there was a ton of Azuki's runner.
No, it's a ton of
Was that the
it's
one?
all the different Zodias, including hers.
Yeah, it was this one.
Yeah, this
Ah,
one was really
yeah. Okay,
nice.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it was just this one. Yeah, this one was with we have Goldie in the middle, T in the back, Ren, Dat Boy, and then Divide. Um, Divide at the time was a girl.
Wow, what's that like, huh? Yeah, he I remember he did pick up his current one a little bit later. Very
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
to grab
And
the Oni mask, right?
the Oni mask, yeah. And then yeah, and I asked Yuka to include herself too. So if you look in the very middle,
There's some
with the Oni mask, um, yeah, that's Yuka.
very
So yeah,
ooh,
it was awesome. Her composition is always so good. And we went with kind of
Mhm.
like adventure vibe, which she kind of created with this one.
what kind of vibe, sorry?
an adventure fantasy vibe.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. Like, and I can see she's included the gears, like the steampunky sort of vibe for Junie.
Yeah, I was telling you, our story was really based on a steampunk fantasy with the journey was for our characters. So yeah, she kind of built this all into this commission. It's pretty it's a lot of images in one, but she made it work.
Her work is yeah, like I think I mentioned this a couple of times, both like just like in team meetings, but also like in a couple of spaces. Her commission work is actually the very first example of like Web3 commission work I'd ever seen. I'd seen like I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was the one of Zaga and Ted Chemo. Trying to remember.
Mhm.
But yeah, I basically saw one and
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, those characters look familiar because I only just recently joined the space, and then I realized that they're based on this Project Azuki, and then that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, people they obviously love their NFTs, their JPEGs a lot, and they go and get more work done of essentially their OCs, their original
Yeah,
characters, yeah. And then eventually, this journey is what I guess technically it did kind of start me over here to Junie, which came with everything. So I guess you can thank Yuka for that as well.
yeah. I think her work always stands out. I think if you were to even just put her work, in even a gallery, like her work would stand out too, because there's something kind of unique about it, which is cool because she kind of developed her own style this way. So yeah, it's great to see it. And yeah, I mean, over time, I kind of just started collecting a lot more other work. I even had, I actually even had Hex do a work for me, for my sister actually, who just got married.
Oh, congratulations
Re-
to her.
Yeah, it was pretty. I was actually thought it was pretty thoughtful for him because he normally doesn't do like
Like commissions and stuff.
commissions or one-on-ones. Yeah, but he was very nice about it, and yeah,
Oh wow.
it's
What?
great to see. Wait, this is not it
Oh,
actually.
I
Let me
was like,
find
what
it.
the? This looks very different for a start.
So this is actually another work by Ina. So actually, I really liked his work too here. Um, he does a lot of like uh kind of like game covers, comic
Oh,
covers.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me find it. Oh, yeah, so this is what Hex did for my sister. Um,
Oh, cute.
yeah, and so this one is actually printed and framed now for her new home.
Very
Uh,
lovely.
yeah, but it's yeah, that was really cool too. I think Hex has a very unique style too. I think it's not common. Um, he's you can tell he's very talented because he's well trained in like the foundation of art. So the way he does his coloring, his line work, shadowing, even just doing like his background too. It's pretty crazy to see. Um, and he's also super fast. I think I might have told this before, but he works incredibly fast. Like he did this in I think I want to say like 6 hours, maybe less, from start to finish. And so like I think he's very like he knows what he wants to draw when he thinks about it, and he's very confident, and he's also very efficient with it, um, which is I think pretty unique too. So that just makes him great to work with. So but
Yeah,
yeah, I
like
mean Hex is always good. He's also his when he does a lot of work for Junie itself. He has a very clear vision of what the world looks like too. For example, like when we do any illustrations revolving the cat zodias, he was like they should have no magic. They're all um, weapon based because they can't use magic. They have to rely on steam energy to power their tools. And so, if you notice, a lot of the work that we did, even within the collection itself, none of the cats actually have any elemental or magic properties. So, yeah, it's these are kind of the small details that he really looks at and focuses on. So,
hmm.
yeah, it's something that we've been building a lot in terms of his own quest line.
Yeah. like speaking of like his level of skill, and I was just mentioning Yuka. I realize like one of the things that I love to uh, look at for artists is like whether you can actually it's like you can say an artist has their own style, but when you look at a piece of art, does it like I guess show the face of the artist, if that makes sense? And for Yuka's work, it's definitely true. And same thing with Hex's, especially like his not just the Zodiac collection, but all of his one of one collections on Foundation. Um, his particular style, very, and I cannot describe it. I'm not an art major at all, but very like painterly, very like steampunk. It feels like it belongs.
Realism.
Yeah, like it belongs like on a
Yeah,
canvas,
yeah.
right? Like that's how I see it. But then if I see a work by Hex, I'm like, oh, there, I can tell that this is by Hex. Not every artist does have this ability or this range just yet, but I do like that, and I can see it both in the work that that he did for your sister, but also with his other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's something that we wanted to help and build with Artsy is kind of help each of the artists find their own um, unique style. And I think it comes with building the foundation first, and then from there, kind of finding what style best fits them and their work. Because I think that's what collectors really like is that kind of distinctiveness of the art and almost like a voice of the artist. Um,
Mm.
I mean, that's kind of like what I look at too. Um, I think there's a it feels like you're part of the artist's story, and I think that's very personal. So, um, yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but that's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah, like it's possible like to see a lot of the beautiful work that exists because we're blessed in a very great time where it's really I guess easy for us to find good art, beautiful art, whether that's going to like a gallery or just being on the internet, but actually having a connection with a piece, especially one that you commission, or one that you know was made for a particular purpose, or like for example you know the artist now that you've spoken to them and interacted with them. I think that does make the art more special, more personal. And I think in a way that's a little more important because these days it's really easy to just scroll through like IG or just like walk through a gallery really quickly and be like, just try and see the works you know that are famous. Like I had this experience when I was at the Louvre, and you go, I'm going to make a beeline straight for the Mona Lisa. I'm going to go straight for the Victory de Samothrace and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
when you look at a piece that I know the story of, I look at the details more. I appreciate it a bit more. And it's more of a conversation piece, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I think for artists too, I think it's a lot about kind of I always feel like everyone's trying to tell their own story too. Even collectors too. Like whenever a piece they collect too, they're trying to tell their own story through the art. Just like the artist is also telling their own story too. Um, that's why I think there's a little bit difference of the art between like a commission work and kind of like original one of one or limited edition type work. Just because a commission work is very meant to capture the commissioner's um, own personal story. Like for example, I think Zai, one of our team members, had a really nice commission by Tatsumi, kind of capturing all of things that are kind of important to her within Web3, and it came out, really nice. Definitely personal too for her, but also like I think it has like a really nice story to it. And like you are kind of drawn to it too, to kind of understand like, oh, what's this mean? Like, what's that? And so like, I think this is kind of done across all art industries. Like you see it in music too, and with lyrics. Um, I don't think it's isolated just within just visual art.
Mm.
And so yeah, exactly. That one's so nice. And so like I think there's definitely something to be told about art in general. And I think having the blockchain enable that, because there is just so much art coming out. I think having provenance of where the art comes from will become more and more important. Especially with the advent of AI coming in too. Um, I think there's a lot of uh, potential for arts within the blockchain. I think we're just kind of just scratching the surface right now. So yeah, I think that's why it's kind of exciting to be here now, even though like the market is not the best.
Mm.
Sentiment's an all-time low. We all recognize that. But I don't think it's a reflection of the blockchain art itself. I think it's just a reflection of more of a time and moment currently. And so I think that's why I think it's really important to kind of stay grounded in what you're, doing this for. I think it helps a lot in your motivation, your passion, and kind of what do you love about being here. That's kind of what I would say for myself. Obviously, the biggest thing is, besides, the vision of doing this, it's kind of do who you're doing it with. I do think, our team has always been so motivated. I would say the best to work with. I work with a lot of different professionals in general at my work too, and it's hard to align everyone on the same goal, especially when everyone's from different backgrounds. Like everyone here is from all over the world, actually.
Yeah, a
Um,
little bit.
right?
What a
Yeah,
team.
I mean, just finding like a meeting time to meet is like already a hard
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and as you even mentioned on the all the cases that you dealt with, we heard about. I'm like, yo, nah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because like, yeah, I mean, finding a meeting time is so hard. But yeah, I mean, this just goes to say like, we're still, really into what we're doing, and I think that's really important. And I think it's because who we also work with, and who you're vibing with. Because trust me, when you're working with a team, I'm sure this speaks for everyone. When you're working with the people and the vibes are off, there's a lot of, things are not working. It would not work well. No matter how important your role is. It really comes down from, the last person on the team to the first person on the team. I don't think, rank matters as much. Everyone brings, important role to the table. So it's all about kind of putting everyone together and finding alignment into building that into something greater. Um, yeah, I think that's why I really love our team a lot. I think it's everyone's really passionate about it. Like I think something maybe it's a little personal. I think something that touched me a bit was they're very even though we're in a tough market, economic downturn, like they even like offer to like take pay cuts, and I was like, it's I think they're giving a lot of their time here, and sometimes it's good to be compensated for it, but they offer it. And even though I think a lot about this stuff because of the position I'm in
Right, right.
terms of long term runway for the project and for the company itself. But it's when I see the team thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I need to do a better job of
Don't sell yourself short.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's that was just what I was thinking about before. But I was like, but I think even then, we still put out a lot of stuff for the community, for the holders. We're still building out what I think would be really awesome to see for everyone to have. Um, I guess I can go to briefly into project updates.
Oh, sure.
Let's see. So we have uh, obviously we have our couple of requests upcoming. We'll have our main quest number 2 starting pretty soon. That's kind of the whole goal is to basically you would be able to collect all of the main quest artwork by Hex to be able to reach the end, which is something there will be definitely a reward for collecting all of them. And obviously too, the goal was always to kind of bridge the gap between artists and collectors. So that's kind of been the quest's work too. But also it's really kind of bringing the awareness of Junie to everyone. Like the goal is if someone to recognize like, oh, you're an artist from Junie, you must be good. Or like, oh, you must be like, um, well connected if you're a collector from Junie. That's kind of a big goal too, is that kind of the recognition, but also like outside of our Web3 bubble, is to really kind of, bring our brands really to a bigger audience. So that's why what I've kind of been building for, we basically hired a professional creative team. It's been put together, and I think we'll have something to show by probably by late fall or early winter. Um, it's all relative right now because things always change in terms of timeline. But that's kind of what I'm hoping for right now. Um, and he also really is thinking about how to uh, immerse the experience of being in Web3 too. I think that's always been kind of like mm, I don't even know what you call it.
Like the spirit of it?
The spirit, yeah. I think,
Like
I
the
mean,
vision, the drive, yeah.
like people always talk about the metaverse. I think the metaverse word has been
Oh,
beaten down a lot now.
yeah. Thanks, Zuck, as well, for piling in on that one. No one asked him, but
Yeah,
he's here now. Great.
yeah, but I think that the core ideas is still there. I think like kind of what you guys doing is building the other side is really kind of building on that vision of like immersiveness. I think there's everyone kind of dreams of a kind of a scenario vision like that of kind of being able to connect even closer than what we have currently with our current web 2 or like internet. um and so like yeah, we're, I mean, definitely exploring on that. I think we're working with pretty prominent builder on doing that actually. um and but yeah, I'll share probably more things once I know for sure. So I'll be open for holders, but until then, like, it's kind of, I just want to give you a little more insight of what I've been thinking about in terms of the bigger overarching goals that I think would be important to be a part of, especially now. I think we're still so early. Everyone who's just listening or being here already is already taking a huge step into what I think would probably be the big future, within the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
yeah, I mean, like, you're seeing it a lot in big companies already. Um, I was just talking to Dapoy actually, who's at the Korea Blockchain Week, um, which is huge actually. A lot of big crypto people are there, and there's a huge boom of what people are building for the blockchain. DeFi, GameFi, tokens, protocols. I think those are all going to become more and more mainstream. We'll see a lot of big, banks or companies are building, blockchain infrastructure already to be ready for the future. We've seen, I mean, we've seen a lot of like companies try to come into NFTs, but I think they came in at a too early of a time without a clear idea of what they wanted to do. And so I think so far none of them have really been too successful, but I'm pretty confident, the next time, NFTs have their next wave or next use cases, it would be a much different scenario, I think. So I think it's really exciting. I know the bear market is always kind of depressing, but if you're looking further down, you can see there's a lot more things coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Like with, especially like as you mentioned, there's like blockchain. What'd you say? It's called Blockchain Korea,
Korean Blockchain Week,
Korean Blockchain Week. Right,
KBW.
right. And then we've got over in Singapore, Token 2049 is going to go down this week as well, this coming week. So, it may be like we'll just briefly touch on the topic of the bear market. It's like it is the case in our specific area of crypto, but in the wider Web3, it's not 100% there. So if everyone's still excited, everyone's still building like real products, then we're just positioning ourselves to be ready for that when people do come looking for more interesting products or more interesting experiences, I should say, because that's really what we're about as a brand and experiences, as opposed to just like pure DeFi projects.
And like to add up on this, like in the Web3 side of things in Japan, right? Like the government and the big companies in Japan are slowly and surely collaborating with more like Web3 projects, and they are exploring a more use cases. And there's this one that's even exploring Web3 use cases with like tourism. I don't have like the exact name yet because I heard it from like friends in Japan, like Octan from Wafuku, which is like a Japanese project. If you can check it out, but hearing that and like company joining in, government encouraging this, you just love to see, that key people is in here working on what they like, making like creating more experience in Web3 for more the people in here, and also the upcoming people to join here. Nah, we are just still early for this, man.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. I think it's very exciting, and it's cool to see that. And thank you so much for sharing the thoughts on that one, there, Ice. And like, it was really interesting to hear you talk about the stuff that, like, it's a lot of big picture and a lot of big feature stuff. But hearing you try to not say the things that we're working on was was very, very well done.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure it's something that all founders have are thinking about is how do you get people excited about what you're building, but also setting the expectation about it too. Because I do think um, a lot of the market before has been built on speculation, and just the idea of just being able to make money passively. Um, when in reality, there's hasn't been any good assets has been doing that unless you're, buy into stocks, dividends, bonds, all these financial vehicles, which is more of a DeFi um, thing. But NFTs itself has always been almost more based on the JPEGs and IP and kind of like the provenance of it and also kind of the community aspect of it. Um, a lot of I think a lot of projects would kind of point to their community a lot as to kind of the big drawing points of their project, which is 100% true. I think the most unique case right now for NFTs is the community building aspect of it, because there's no other way you can build a whole community aligned under kind of like the same banner, um, and they all rep their own unique, like artwork to be part of that banner. So, I think there's a lot of building to do regarding how to improve that experience, how to make it easier, for people who are not in the space to join too. There's still a huge amount of friction, just having people, buy an NFT, make a wallet, and security. Security has always been such a huge issue here, and I think that's probably why we have don't have the best rep in the space because of how prolific scams are in the space. And so I think a lot of it is just kind of improving a lot of the infrastructure here, kind of before you start onboarding more and more people. So, but I know a lot of people are building kind of wallets integration that's to make it more easy, custodial wallets, um, to make it a lot more frictionless for people to buy and trade eventually, but also really kind of join these kind of bigger communities. Because I do think that's kind of naturally what people do is, they form groups, they form communities, they form villages, they form interest groups, work groups. All this is all part of kind of human nature. And NFT is just kind of a way to kind of enable that. And we're not quite there yet, but I think we're getting there. And so I think the first kind of boom of the NFT PFP market has kind of been proof of that. So yeah, I mean, I know people are pretty down by the bear market, but it doesn't really bother me too much just because I think about these things and I think it helps a lot too. It gets people excited about too. And you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people just building out things right now, quietly. And then, when, I'm pretty excited, by, early next year, there'll be a lot more things happening. And yeah, hopefully there'll be more people coming in.
Yeah, for sure. There's like the whole idea of community is, I guess it is said a lot, but as someone who really found like a really great set of communities here in Web3, I think I like to say that it works. Obviously, there's no way I would have met any of you in any other scenario. I just cannot see, like, I'm from all the way down Melbourne, Australia. A lot of you guys are from like the US or like YHSO from Southeast Asia. It's just there's no way for me to have connected like this under like such a similar level of interest. And so any project that does manage to nail that very well, like whether the idea or the spirit of the project is very clear and very like it does select for its members really well. So for Junie especially, I love to, obviously I'm a bit biased, big fan of Junie, but Junie's focus on art and collectors, artists themselves. It helps when you have to like bring it up to a new person, someone wants to join, or they're looking for a community in our space. There's a lot they can join, but when we can just point it out and say, yeah, we're all about supporting artists and artists themselves and collecting art, they can be like, cool, I'm into art, or conversely, oh, I'm not into art, and so they might not be interested. But if they are into art, then they just naturally sort of end up here, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Vince, you're like a real life proof because you met everyone here, and then I even met you in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the US too. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an underrated aspect of community. And you know, it's been over promoted too, but there is definitely an underrated aspect. And I think you touched upon it really was finding or building kind of that alliance with the community, where you may have to filter out some members, but really it's kind of finding that I don't even know what the word is called, but it's more like kind of like
Your tribe.
Striking gold, yes.
your
Yeah.
tribe or like your group,
Mm.
because they're the ones that you'll end up getting along with, building things with, um, even like meeting in real life, hanging out to become like your lifelong group. It's something that I think you kind of have to do over time, and it gets harder as you're an adult, right? When you're a kid, like it's so easy to make friends,
Yeah.
right? But as you get older, you got a lot more responsibilities, you got bills to pay, you got family to take care of, and just life gets in the way, right? And so that's why I think community does really kind of capture that kind of childhood uh, innocence in a way that I think draws a lot of people here.
Like the ease of
and probably,
connection. Yeah.
yeah, the ease of connection too. Like, um, we may be from like different places in the world, but we were able to easily connect because of our shared interests.
Mm.
So
Yeah, like as some, yeah, I've hit my 30s now, and looking back at a lot of things, a lot of ways you can connect were just sort of by convenience. Like you go to the same class, same school, you have the same workplace. But yeah, as you're right, as you get older, these things they drop away, especially if you're not someone who has particularly paid much attention to making sure that you're connected with everyone. Our space, I kind of want to say almost uniquely. I'm aware that there are other ways to connect online, but the way our space connects through like online platforms like Twitter, X, but also on Discord, where it feels like a lot of friendships or connections or relationships are not, they don't like take attendance, if that makes sense. Like if I don't hear from someone for like a couple of months or a couple of weeks, it's fine. Obviously, if they're fine. But then if they do
Yeah.
reconnect, it's like it's instant. It doesn't really. There's no need for it. Like it's not like, oh, if I don't see you every couple of weeks for like a dinner or something, then I'm gonna forget about you. Here it's like it's really easy. Just hop on Discord, just send a message, or you see someone actually. The way I usually interact is I see someone that I know interact elsewhere, and then I'll say something. That's actually how I find that it goes, and I like that.
Yeah, like it doesn't put too much pressure, having to like needing the need of commitment, and
Mm.
also it makes it easier to connect because we are all within that niche. I mean, because if I think all of us here went to like Web3 IR meetups, no? So when you went to you go ahead to those places, like the common topic you talk about, or you all already build like a strong bond when y'all are on Discord. So it's easier to get a knack, and then you just keep that connection, keep that networking going, whether it's when anything that with everything that's like Web3 related.
There was a great a bit from Sammy's podcast. So Sammy's someone who's in the Izuki and Valhalla community. She had a bit, not a bit, a story in one of her episodes where she mentioned that she went to hang out with 3 other girls that she'd met through Web3. They went on a trip. I think it was to LA. They'd never met before, like in person. They'd only met like through Web3, and they hung out together. They had like an Airbnb, and they like had a car. And they like hung out. It was really nice. But one moment they had was someone, I forgot which one of the 4 said it. They're like, hey, let's gotta take a quick break. And what they did was they all hopped on their phones in the car and just were completely silent for like 15 minutes. But they were on Discord, they were on Twitter, they were doing their Web3 thing where you check all your like feeds and stuff. But it was something that they didn't need to explain to each other. They just understood the connection like instantly. And we're like, I understand why you're doing this. I know why you're going on your phone. I know why you need a second to like not be present IRL. And I was like, I like that. I love that actually. My favorite stories.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think in general, it's hard for people to understand kind of people being in Web3 for so long because a lot of people here they're on their computers a lot. So it's hard for others if you're not like as connected, virtually to why you're here. But I think it's like just another way of building kind of interaction with others. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I think Sammy just gets along pretty easily with everyone, so I'm not surprised.
I love it. Yeah, I just spent an hour doing a shoutcast of ARAM. That was great fun. The two of us, obviously not expert level players, but we had a great time. She's just one of those like magnetic people in our space. That very lucky that I encountered her very early in my time here. That she's one of the ones who made me like realize how great it was to meet people like her.
Yeah. I think she was actually one of the first people I met too within Web3. So um, yeah, she was at the time she was very like she was like grilling me about like what is Junie and what are you guys doing
Uh huh.
and what's your pitch, and I was like, oh wow, she's really like professional about this. And
Mm.
then when you get to know her more, you realize, oh, that's actually not her at all. So yeah, it was great. I mean, I met her with Alex at the time, so it was a different time, but it was really fun too. Um, but yeah, I think it's like meeting other people too through Web3 is always fun too. They're much different from uh obviously people from I know at work,
Mm.
but they give like kind of a much different perspective, just in general, like on life. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that too. Is that something that you hope that Junie does? Like, obviously it's doing it now, but like, is that something that you want Junie to continue to achieve and to work on? Is to bring like people together like this of similar interests?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I think, Junie was always meant to kind of, bring people into our community, both who are, talented as an artist, but also like-minded as a collector, but also, um, you know, people who want to kind of build upon a similar vision of what we're doing. Something that I think we welcome a lot. Something that I really think is probably like one of the biggest strengths of like projects like Azuki or Bored Apes is they have a lot of strong builders there. Um, they go a little bit underrated because of the current market, but I do think the strength of that community is pretty strong in that regard. Um,
Mm.
something we're always working to instill within our community too. I think everyone is super sweet in our community. Everyone's really easygoing, great to get along with. They all care about our artists too, which is amazing, and all the artists I think love being here. Thanks to a lot of the work done by our artsy group, Goldie, Yuzu, Zai, too. They take really good care of our artists. Always thinking about them and how to how to showcase their work, how to get them more involved, and how to build upon what they're doing. I think that's great. And I think one of our strengths has always been our own artsy group. I think I've been messaged many times before about like, oh, who in artsy can I have work for, or who can I ask within artsy for this, or like, oh, your artsy group is like well known. They want to kind of work with our group. So yeah, that's super cool to see. It's actually one of the reasons why I think Vexa was recently working for Weebox, was talking with them because I think they wanted an established artist like that. So
Mm. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it's nice when kind of you build that kind of reputation within artsy, and I think that's why Goldie and Yuzu and Zaire, we're really working on building kind of a more of a merit membership type where you really build upon the reputation of the group itself, because that lends to your credibility, it lends to your how well you be able to your talent level, your work level, your all this is important because at the end of the day, like if you were to take your work to the next level of being able to sell your work consistently, you kind of need that reputation with you.
Yeah, That's very true. Like it's something that we will, I guess, always do is like always support them. But I think it's important to see growth, right? Like to see like when an artist has come into Junie, and like if that was a little while back, and then how they are now. Is definitely one of the ways that we try and achieve that. Same thing with our star. But I think this is something that I heard a lot, was told a lot actually when I used to create content was I used to chase this idea of perfection. Like when I release a video, I want it to be like perfect. And then obviously if you do that, you don't release anything because nothing is perfect. But what my friend told me, or I shouldn't say one friend, a lot of friends told me was like, actually, for a lot of them, when they watch content, especially a personality like a YouTuber, for example, it's not really about the content itself or how it's presented. If they want something perfect, they'll go see a movie. Instead, what they're more interested in is the individual journey that creator has gone through. So they love to they find like a new creator, and then if they stick with them for a year or 6 months or whatever, to see how their content has improved. Like what kind of ways that they've improved stuff, whether it's technical, like editing, sound quality, etc., or straight up like their ability to talk and their ability to convey like a story. So I think it's the same thing with artists, where people do like to see an artist start somewhere and then just see them get really good. And I see that a lot on Instagram. I haven't seen it so much on Web3 because people, I think, are doing a lot more commission work, so they're selling a lot more work. So it kind of already comes with this idea of perfection. But I love going back to my Instagram feed, seeing an artist I followed 5 years ago and seeing where they are now. So Junie encouraging that, it's great. So I want to see more stories like that.
And yeah, actually we already seen one of them. Oh my!
So
they have been streaming like an art day.
Sorry,
props to them.
Wait, who was it? You cut out a bit there.
Mai.
Oh, Mai, of course. Shout out to Mai. Wow,
right,
kind of amazing.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been seeing a lot of kind of progress a lot of the artsy artists are doing, and yeah, I can tell like their work is, improving a lot. Yeah, for example, yeah, Mai's work. I remember because I saw her work before last fall, and I can see the progress she made a lot. It's yeah, it's super cool to see.
Has Mai
There's
changed?
a lot of
Sorry, go on.
there's yeah, a lot of artists are kind of finding their own way to improve. I think the mentor program has really helped a lot too. So that's why we're keeping it up, hoping to expand it more, thinking how to grow it more. Sure Goldie will touch upon that more. But yeah, that's probably the some of the ways where I see like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing is really meaningful. It's like this is really cool to see. We're building a whole community that they're literally growing together.
Yeah, we all putting in the reps, putting in the reps.
Right. You gotta put in reps to get better. Can't expect, progress if you're not, working towards it.
Sorry, I just I need to grab Mai's Twitter. Oh wow, yeah, you're right. It has changed quite a lot. It's amazing actually. Sorry, just looking at it now.
To those in the spaces, we are looking at it on our YouTube stream, so be sure to check it out, to be on thinking what we're talking about.
Wow, Mai, you are really coming along. I should get a piece. Honestly, I think one of the struggles with being on this team is just the constant exposure to artsy artists, and me just being like, I don't have the funds to support literally all of you, which I would love to do.
Yes.
So I'm actually a little glad that we've got someone like Ice who's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get a bunch of commissions really subtly.
Let him cook. Whenever he got a commission, I'm like, yo, again? I'm like, oh my God, gotta let him cook.
Yeah, we should be careful about talking too many commissions before we might summon an accidental golden peel.
Yeah, I kind of keep on the down low. You never know who I'm gonna pop in their DMs for asking for a commission.
Like it's Ice himself. I love that. But yeah, speaking of the team, I do like that our team composition is made of two co-founders. One is the artist, Hex, and the other one is not an artist. You're more the collector side of things. I think that's really important to maintain perspective, because it's what we really aspire to be, is to be a place for both those kinds of people, artists and collectors. So yeah, thanks for starting the project, Ice.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for still loving it, and thanks for everyone who's still staying here and with us and believe in our vision and what we're doing. I think you know, it's definitely hard to build in the space, but I do think, you know, people here makes it easy. So yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Otherwise, we will wrap it up.
All right.
I think that would be it.
I think it was a lovely conversation. Guys, thank you so much for coming along for the chat. Ice, thank you so much for your time. I know you are very busy.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's great being here. Excited to see who else you bring on. Always looking to tune in. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, before we wrap up, I will just let you guys know. Quick reminder that the quest for Yu Yu Haru, I almost mispronounced it. Yu Yu Haru is currently live. So if you have a Zodia, go ahead and go to our website, hop over to quests, and go ahead and send them on a quest to pick up this beautiful piece or a beautiful piece by Yu Yu Haru. I just sent mine, I think, the other day because I finally had some wrap up from Choose Quest. So I'm pretty excited to grab it. Hey.
Yep. Don't forget.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for this particular episode of The Juice. We'll be back every 2 weeks. So we'll see you in another 2 weeks. And hope you guys have a good fortnight.
All right. Thanks, everyone.